everyone, it's Mary with Happy Pine Soap. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to be learning how to make a feather swirl design for cold process soap. You will need a hanger tool similar to this one. This one here is available on Brambleberry for about $6. I also have pre-mixed my mica colors. I'm going to do a rainbow feather swirl. This will include Strawberry Moonshine. We also have Tangerine Dream, Harold's Purple Crayon, Banana Split, and last but not least, the Maniacal Pea. These are all from Mad Micas. I will also be using an olive oil that I infused with dandelions about 2 months ago. And I will also be using Love Spell. This is a wonderful fragrance from Midwest Fragrances, and it's supposed to play really nice with complex designs. All right, I'm adding the dandelion infused oil to the heated hard oils that I've already melted. And also, I am checking to see my oil and lye temperature. We have about 99 degrees for the oils and about 87 degrees for the lye solution. Here I am straining the lye solution through a stainless steel sieve that I have on hand. This is just to catch any lye lint or bits of debris that may not have dissolved fully. Don't forget to burp your stick blender before you start stirring. This design I want to remain incredibly fluid, so you don't want to overblend. I want to barely reach an emulsion, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. But basically, I only had to stick blend this for about 2 bursts of approximately 8 to 10 seconds. It was not long at all. All right, this is what an emulsion or very light trace looks like. Essentially, when you pull the stick blender up, you want to see a very light coating of batter without any type of separation between the oils and the fluid. So it should look fairly uniform throughout, but still be very, very thin. Because I knew that this fragrance was well behaved and allows for complex design, I went ahead and added it to the batter before I started pouring. For this design, I also measured off approximately 3 ounces of batter into 5 separate smaller containers. These will be my small rainbow colors that I'm using for the feather swirl. This mold has a beautiful flower design at the bottom of the silicone liner. I got this mold from Temu, and I'm brushing a copper mica that's been dispersed in some oil into the bottom, just a few drops of it, and then I brushed a kitchen brush over it to spread it out neatly. And I also am pouring just about 1 inch of batter in the bottom, but I'm pouring it over a spatula on purpose so that it doesn't wash away that beautiful copper color. Go ahead and tap your mold to release any air bubbles. This mold is about a 2.5 pound loaf. And then you will start laying your colors in. I had to do it by a spoon to get down deep enough where the batter didn't break through to the bottom. I did try pouring it first from the actual pour containers, and that did not work. As you can kind of see, the batter broke through the bottom layers and made kind of a mess, and I didn't want that to ruin the feather swirl, so I quickly switched to just stainless steel spoons that I had on hand so that I could get really close to the surface of the batter and avoid having the colors bleed or break through the bottom layers. You really don't want that. You want each layer to nicely sit on top of one another, which will be important as you use the feather swirl. So feel free to use the spoons to get down very close to the surface of the batter and carefully lay it in, the colors in, just like you see me doing here. Now, occasionally you will see me cover up the colors with some more white batter, and again, done with a spoon to avoid breaking through. And you can really lay the colors in any sort of fashion or order that you want to. I happen to do the red, orange, and yellow, and then I would put some white batter over the colors, and then I proceeded with the purple and the green, and then some more white batter. But you can really probably lay them in any particular way you want to. When you do finally use the feather tool or the feather swirl tool or hanger, some call it a gear tie as well, it'll be important to use that gear tie directly over these lines that you see me placing down. This batter stayed incredibly fluid the entire time. I was really shocked. This is a brand new formula that I am working on that has lard in it, and it is just such a beautifully creamy batter that really just, I was almost worried it wasn't going to set up because it was so fluid. But towards the end, the batter did start to thicken slightly where I was able to start finally pouring from the small containers, which made it a bit easier because it was pretty tedious with the spoon. As far as your soap recipe, you just want to make sure you have a recipe that you've tested before, that you know is going to stay fluid for a good 20 minutes or so. And you want to be careful of any fragrances you might use. You don't want them to accelerate the batter, and soaping at lower temperatures is helpful as well for not causing acceleration. Now, as you can see, the batter has thickened up finely enough, as well as the volume of the soap is pretty close to the top of the mold. So I was able to actually start to lay in some thicker, deeper lines of color, which was nice. I was trying to get rid of the color as well. And I was actually able to pour from my pour container as well, very gently. You want to make sure you're very close to the surface of the soap so that it doesn't break through. And once you are satisfied and have finished pouring all your lines of color, you will be ready to use your hanger tool. So essentially you want to pre-shape it to the size of your mold so that it's easy. And you push it straight down across the line of colors that you've laid down and carefully push it along the bottom of the mold and then carefully pull it up to one side of the mold. And that's it. I had some extra color left, so I went ahead and made a pretty design at the top of the soap. It ended up being the bottom of the soap because I had totally forgotten about my pretty sunflower silicone mold at this point. But at least you guys get to see an example of what it looks like to swirl a top and how you would make a swirled top as well. They're so pretty and so easy to do. So I really hope you enjoy watching me swirl the colors. The tool I'm using is from Brambleberry as well. It's the cleanup tool, I believe it's called, and it has a nice pointy end that's great for popping any bubbles that you might see rise to the top of your soap, as well as for swirling. Here is the beautiful swirled top that's all finished. I love how glossy and shiny brand new soap is, and it does lose some of its shine after curing, which is a bit of a bummer, but sometimes you can get it to gloss back up again with a steamer by steaming the tops of your soap too, and it cuts down on soda ash as well. And here I have taken the soap out of the mold. I really should have waited probably 48 hours because of how fluid this batter was, but I didn't have the time to wait, so I took it out in one day, and as you can see, the copper mica is just absolutely gorgeous with this flower design on top. All right, our favorite part, the cut. So this is me cutting off just the end, and already I was like, oh my goodness, this actually worked. I did it. This was my first feather swirl. I've tried before, but I didn't have success before. So I was pretty happy to see how beautiful this was turning out. Each one is very, very similar, but they each have their unique little look to them as well. It's really a fun process to see each one. The little red mark you see off to the side on the left part of the soap, that was from some of the color breaking through in the beginning. So yeah, you really have to be careful not to accidentally splash any or pour too far away from the surface of the soap, because that can cause some of that breaking through. So that was the only thing I was really unhappy with, but the rest of the design was really beautiful, and I love the rainbow colors, and they came out really, really well. And even as you can see with the swirled top, it's kind of your preference, whether you want a swirled top or if you like the look of the fancy flowers at the bottom. They're really beautiful. I'm quite happy with both sides, both top and bottom. And as you see, I also am wiping the wire cutter down before I slice each bar. And that's because, again, this batter is quite fluid and sticky, even a day later, and you don't want it ruining each cut to have some leftover batter on the wire. So that concludes our feather swirl tutorial. I really hope you found this helpful. If you did, feel free to drop me a comment below. I appreciate all of your support so much in supporting my channel and helping it grow. And I look forward to seeing you guys all in the next soapy tutorial. Take care, everyone. Have a fabulous day.